Hey guys, welcome back. It's Kevin again, and this is gonna be a really exciting one. In the last video, we picked a niche, MMA gear, and we also ended up sourcing products for our MMA branded niche dropshipping store. In case you missed that video, you're gonna wanna click right here. In this video, we're going to transform the products that you source from AliExpress into a professional looking collection, just like your favorite brands. In fact, I'm gonna take you from looking like this to this. We're going to clean AliExpress images that have Chinese characters or logos, as well as master product descriptions. This is an area that a lot of people neglect, especially when they're starting out, because they're so bullish on selling. At the end of the day, you have to remember, it's the products on your website that actually generate sales, and how you convey these products through images, videos, and descriptions makes the world of difference in how profitable your business is really gonna be. So to start, I'm gonna teach you 5 different methods to clean AliExpress images step by step. I promise you that once you take time to master these methods, you're gonna be able to turn even the most unappealing and Chinese AliExpress product images into winning product photos. In fact, we still use these methods every single day. Alright guys, before I get into method 1, I just want to clarify something, which is that Photoshop is a very essential skill to e-commerce. I know we're focused at product pictures right now, but Photoshop will help you make engaging creatives, design beautiful websites, and much more. What's nice about method 1 is that you don't have to be advanced in Photoshop to execute it, and it's actually faster to do this without Photoshop, but there is going to be some criteria involved. Number 1, it's used best for removing some sort of Chinese character or logo from a product, and these characters or logo cannot actually be affecting the physical attributes of the particular product. Furthermore, the product needs to be on a white background, and this is very important. Now don't worry, we will still teach you methods for removing logos and writing when the product is on different backgrounds and also in more complicated situations. This is just a criteria for method 1. So now we're at the product page level of Shopify, and this is all going to take place natively within Shopify, and all you have to do to start doing this is to actually press those 3 little dots on the product image that you actually want to clean. So we're going to go ahead and do that right here, and then up next, what you want to do is press Edit Image. We're going to use the Draw tool, and because it's a white background, we're going to select the color white and adjust the brush size accordingly on what best suits your needs, and let's start wiping away this logo. You can see here that we're not actually changing anything with the specific product, and this is why the white background was very important. You just press Done, you click Save, and bam, this product has been cleaned and it's looking good and professional. One thing to make sure of is that the first image that appears on the product page level, and it's also going to be the biggest image that appears, is actually going to be the display image for your product at the collection level. So whatever you guys want customers to see at the collection level for this particular product that they actually click into, make sure that is the biggest display image, and you'll see right over here when we go back and press refresh that the image we just cleaned, which we moved up first, is also the image that displays on the collection. Before we move into method 2, I just want to remind you guys to work at your own pace. I'm not going to do any more examples for method 1, and I will only do 1 example for each method. So if you have problems following along, it's important that you work at your own pace, go back to the method 1 area of this video, and really master it before moving on. Without further ado, we're going to move right into method 2. Method 2 is going to be a little bit more complicated than method 1, and you also will need Photoshop, but don't get scared, it's still quite simple. You're going to be able to leverage images like this one that do not have a white background and also even have Chinese text that influences the physical parts of the product. Furthermore, Chinese block text that we're going to try to get rid of. What's powerful about learning this method and also the later methods I will cover with this video is it lets you source more products that maybe you were ignoring before because you had no idea how to remove things like Chinese text or a dirty background. This way, you can turn even the most dirty products look very clean and professional and add it to your catalog without fear. Obviously, no consumer is going to want to buy anything that is very, very obviously Chinese, and what we're teaching you is a way to turn even the dirtiest products into high conviction ones. So now we're back at the product page level natively in Shopify just like before, and in order to use this method you're going to want to click on the preview of this image and save it on your computer, and don't forget the location where you save it or the file name. I make this mistake all the time. So now we're going to actually open up the image within Photoshop, and it's important for easy editing that you always remember to unlock the first layer in the image so that you can better make changes. The first tool that we're going to be using is called the Magic Wand tool, and it's called that because it's going to bring so much magic to your life. To use this tool, you simply select the area of the image that you're actually trying to remove, which in this case is going to be that background, because remember guys, we're trying to make this background white. But you can see here that it's not really selecting all of the area that we're looking for. In order to fix this situation, you simply increase the tolerance level of the tool, or essentially the amount of area that you want this tool to select. And we're just going to increase the value right over there and press back onto the area, and bam, you can see that now it's selecting more of what we're trying to delete. Now all you do is just play around with clicking different areas of this image until you get the right sweet spot where you can just press delete, and bam, the background is going to disappear. And you can see now that with very little effort, we're actually able to wipe away this gray background absolutely. So now how do we actually make it white? To do this, just click the rectangular tool, make sure that the fill is selected for white, and we're actually going to be drawing a big square above this product. You move the first layer down, and bam, you've got a crisp, clean white background. We're going to be especially detail oriented and zoom in to see if we missed any spots. If you see that there are remnants from the background that you haven't cleaned, it's quite simple. All we have to do is simply click onto the layer that we're trying to edit, and then we're going to use the eraser tool, adjust the size of the brush accordingly, and get really precise with erasing, and be very careful that you don't actually erase corners of the actual product. Once we completed this part, we're going to move on to actually removing the Chinese logo and characters that are physically on the product itself, and this is a very important thing to master. In order to accomplish this, we're going to be using a tool called the Spot Healing Brush. You just simply click on it and then use the tool and just draw over the things that you want to erase, and bam, you can see that it's just going to disappear like that. This will take some time tweaking and getting used to, and also for all you guys out there that are scared of your facial blemishes, this is the same tool that a lot of people are using. I'm not telling you to do anything. You got to be confident and love yourself, but again, it's the same concept. So we covered how to get rid of the Chinese text, we removed the background, you even know how to remove your facial blemishes. The last piece is to actually remove that Chinese bar and text up above. And this is very easily achieved by using the eraser tool and then going to adjust the brush size to a slightly larger size, and bam, you can just erase this right away. And remember to be careful not to erase parts of the product like we did before. And by cleaning a picture that many people would simply pass up and decide not to source, I hope you're learning two essential lessons. Number one, the power of Photoshop and why it's good to brush up and pay attention to content like this one. And two, that Photoshop seems so complicated on the surface level, but it's actually not when you really take the time to break it down. So enough chit-chatting, let's move on to the next method. We've still got some more to cover. The next method I'm going to show you guys works perfectly for product images like this one, where there isn't much contrast between the background and the actual colors of the product like we have here. To use this method, you just simply go straight to Photoshop, and we're using this tool called the Magnetic Lasso tool. And what you do is drag the tool right next to the product, and the tool is designed to actually grip onto the sides of the product like this. And I'm going to speed the process up, but we're basically going to be drawing a circumference of the entire product. Now you might think that this is tedious and boring, but if you really want to win in the world of e-commerce, you've got to put in the work. Once you're done selecting the perimeter of the product, all you do is unlock the original layer, copy and paste, and then delete the old copy, and bam, you've removed the background. The next step is going to be a very familiar one. We're using the rectangle tool to draw a white box to get on a white background, and bam, it is almost perfect. But we want to be really precise, so we're going to use the eraser tool and actually get rid of any jagged edges that basically reveal that this thing was obviously Photoshopped. And again, it's these extra pieces and this extra attention to detail that can really go a long way. Now that we've finished removing the jagged edges, there's one more piece, which is removing that AliExpress Chinese logo on the top left-hand corner of the left glove. We're going to be using the spot healing tool again, just like we did in the previous method, and draw over this. As you can see, it's quite simple, and bam, you'll see that it's been removed. Now we're going to use that eraser tool to really trim down the edges and make sure that things look perfect. And in no time at all, this image is ready to convert some customers. Method number 4 is going to be really helpful with images such as this one, where there's very little differentiation between the colors of the product and the color of the background. In this case, the white MMA gloves versus that grayish background. In these situations, it's hard for the tool, as I mentioned previously, to detect the differences between pictures. So let's head over to our new best friend, Photoshop, and we're going to be using the polygonal lasso tool. And essentially what this tool does is it lets you draw straight lines on Photoshop, and that's going to be how you're going to be selecting. So the concept is tedious but quite simple. You're going to be drawing these straight lines until you have perfectly isolated the product from the background. And again, this is obviously much more difficult than the magnetic lasso tool and the magic wand, but in instances such as this one where it's hard for Photoshop to tell the difference, that's what you have to do. Once you've taken the time to carefully trace the edges of the product, we're going to be unlocking the layer, duplicating it over, and then deleting the original layer, and of course using our handy dandy rectangular tool with a white fill to put it on a white background. And of course we're going to use that eraser tool to clean up the edges and remove any obvious signs of Photoshop. In terms of cleaning images, this is as hard as it gets on Photoshop because of the lack of contrast between product and background, and bam, that wasn't too bad, was it? Let's move on to the last method. Alrighty, time for the final method, method number 5. This one is going to be exciting for a lot of you guys that are scared of Photoshop. It's still a skill you have to learn, but I guess is a little cheat code I will give you guys, but this is not a free option, just so you guys know. So we're going to be cleaning this pair of black gloves. Let's click onto the product page. I'm going to go ahead and save this image right over here. And then what we're going to do is hop onto this website called clippingmagic.com. And clippingmagic.com is basically a service that exists for people that are scared of using Photoshop or accelerate the pace at which they are able to remove product backgrounds so they don't actually have to mess with any Photoshop. So all we have to do is go here and upload right over here, and you can see there's going to be two views, right? There's going to be the right hand view, and there's also going to be the left hand view. This is what the picture is going to look like once you are finished with Clipping Magic, and this is what it looks like before, right? Before we did any edits. So you can already see that the smart algorithm on the software was pretty effective. It already got rid of a lot of it, but obviously there's some problems right over here. And once you pay for the service, then clippingmagic.com, this watermark disappears. And I believe it's by tokens. It's pretty affordable depending on how many products you're trying to clean up. So definitely an option I do encourage, and I'm going to try to get you guys a discount. So maybe by the time you're watching this video, I've already gotten you a discount link. Either way, this is how we do it. So this green color over here means the part of the picture that you want to keep, right? So as you can see, it's cutting this part out. If I mark this part green, then it's actually going to show up over here in the results, right? Obviously we don't want that to do, but that is what the green tool does. And obviously you can erase the selection you've made. So we're going to undo that. And red is going to be things that you actually don't want to show in the result, or things you want to cut. So obviously we can see on this right hand side over here that it messed up a little bit in the middle. Otherwise it's been pretty clean. So I'm just going to zoom in over here, right? Already looking way better. Use the hand tool, get kind of close, and you can see this is just super easy. And this product is already like kind of difficult for Clipping Magic because everything is black. The shadows and also the gloves are kind of mixing together, which is what we're in the process of solving for. But, you know, most products like Clipping Magic use the green tool and the red tool a little bit, and it'll automatically remove the background. Definitely a very, very powerful piece of software. And I just have to kind of clean up this area now, and it should be good. Oh, so you see how that kind of messed things up a little bit? So I'm going to use that green to, you know, kind of get this thing back in check. And I think it's looking pretty good. We really just need to hone in on the edges here. And honestly, I would say this is pretty solid. You know, if you really think about it from a customer's perspective on the right-hand side, I think it looks pretty professional. That little blurry area, if you want to take some extra seconds or minutes to get this thing cleaned up, you can. But overall, I would say this looks pretty awesome, and you can see how fast of a process that was with this software. So definitely highly recommend as a quick way to clean backgrounds. All right, I know that was a lot of information, guys. So if that was overwhelming, I want you to rewind and watch that stuff through. In fact, if you don't even have your niche picked out, you can already start practicing mastering these tools by just taking some images from AliExpress. I would challenge yourself and pick the dirtiest images that you can find and use these methods. So now that we're done cleaning images, we're gonna actually go into product descriptions that will bring your products to life, ensuring that even the most skeptical consumers feel engaged by your offering. We're going to be editing this particular product, and as you can see, this current product page looks absolutely like a scam. You know, no one's gonna buy something with this type of title, and there's a sizing here that says free size. You know, what does that even mean? And you have all this random description here that really doesn't add a lot of trust to the buying experience. So let's hop over to the product page and actually make some edits. I'll show you what we do for every single product that we're putting on our store in order for it to be presentable and also very engaging. And obviously we've already cleaned the photos, and if you guys don't know how to get from something like this to this photo, you've got to rewind and make sure you master that, because again, descriptions don't matter if your product photos don't look good. So the first thing we're gonna do is obviously come up with a title of this product. We can't let it be Rick's Chi kickboxing gloves for men, women, PU, karate, Muay Thai, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's not very good. And what you do is you literally just make up a name and you take a look at the product and see some attributes on it, and let's just turn it into the Twin Dragon Fighting Gloves. And there you go. Already, we're gonna press save. Already, this title is gonna look a lot more appealing. And up next is going to be the description. Oberlo normally imports the description directly from AliExpress, and you'll see something like this. And most people are just gonna delete this, or some people, if I've actually seen it, they leave it on and they don't make any changes, and then, you know, they're so shocked they can't make any sales when you literally have a description saying Gantz name boxe color Matane, right? Obviously not the best thing to do, but this section is actually packed with a lot of information you can leverage. So you can see here the material is made out of high quality PU leather, which means synthetic leather, and then also you can see the weight right here, which might be very important for people that are really interested in fighting gloves or boxing gloves. So how do we actually come up with a description? Well, it's very easy. We take our inspiration from big brands. So I've gone ahead and done some Googling around to see how big brands are describing their products, and we can see here this is Dick's Sporting Goods, and they have obviously a very, very strong reputation with consumers. They know what they're doing, and this is how they describe their products. You know, they have some sort of catchy description and then an overview of the features. So why don't we actually do the same? It's that easy. That's how we come up with our descriptions. Obviously, you can't copy the description word for word. You know, that'd be some copywriting and IP problems, but you can definitely use it for inspiration. And let's just go ahead and start doing it. And as you do more of these product descriptions, you're gonna slowly get the hang of it. It does require a mastery of language, and the more descriptive you are, the better, which I've gotten a lot better over time as I've done more of these. So, you know, this is just like image editing. It's gonna take a lot of practice, a lot of iterations until you find something that you're satisfied with. but I'm just gonna sort of freestyle this and make a really cool description. So again, we're gonna follow the same format. I'm gonna come up with a catchy phrase, and fighting is all about defeating your opponent. So I'm gonna say, overwhelm your competition with these premium boxing gloves. I know this is supposed to be an MMA store, so I was a little lazy in sourcing, obviously not actually running the store. This is just an example for you guys. These are boxing gloves, so no one in the comments call me out, why are you putting boxing gloves in an MMA store? This is just as an example for you guys. So now you can see right here, these are elastic cuffs. So I'm going to say elastic cuffs enable for an easy slip-on design, while added padding protects knuckles from rough hits. Again, this is so much better than saying, hey, this is a pair of gloves. There's already a level of vivid detail that's in the product description now that wasn't here before, that hopefully tantalizes people to buy. And we can say construction is made to be both durable and functional, two things that fighters would care about. And based on the pre-made description that Oberlo gave us before, we got some really good facts about this product, and I'm just going to organize it in a much more visually appealing way. So obviously we want to talk about the material here, and I'm just going to say premium synthetic leather, and PU, that's sort of the abbreviation for polyurethane, which is synthetic leather. And we're going to go with features. The AliExpress page said that it is tear-proof, it's durable, and also it's waterproof. So we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to say abrasion-proof, which is a fancy way of saying tear-proof. And we're going to say enhanced durability. And then also we're going to say waterproof. And I don't know if you guys know anything about fighting, but fighters really care about the weight of their gloves because it impacts their fighting style and their strategy. And this thing is going to be 26 grams as provided by the AliExpress page. I Googled the ounce conversion for this because we're going to be selling to US customers as well, and that's going to be 0.035 ounces. And there you go. This description is already a lot more engaging, a lot more professional than before. We're going to scroll down here and make sure the colors are checked. Yep, it is red and blue. And you can see this is really annoying, right? We have this thing called US size, free size. This is how you control the options that customers see on scroll down. So you can see here, when customers click here, it says US size and then free size. What does that really mean? And since there is only one size, what we can do is, I'm going to save the work I've done so far, but what we can do is click edit options, and then we can just delete this option because there's only one size anyways. So now let's adjust the prices. Obviously 101.14 is a little crazy. I already told you guys the magic ratio is 2.5 to 3 times your AliExpress price including shipping. And once you determine a price based on that, you just click here, select all the variants, press open bulk editor. This is a very easy way for you to do it. And let's just say we made this glove $29.99. I don't look at the AliExpress price. I gave you guys the golden ratio, just showing you guys how to do a sale. So now this is going to be $30, and you can make the compare at price, let's say $99.99, and all of a sudden this thing is essentially 70% off, and you're going to be advertising a 70% off sale. So you can see it's been reflected over here. The last thing you want to do is click edit website SEO and make sure the page title is your product title. Sometimes it's the Chinese title that we changed that kind of carries over. You want to make sure that's not the case here. And then also the description is right here, and obviously you want to make sure the URL and handle is leading to the product page. So what does this look like? Now obviously it's looking a lot more professional. We can even edit these pictures, which I showed you guys how to do, get rid of the blue and the red, or even put it on white backgrounds as well. And you can see this is the description, this is the material, there's not that crappy sizing thing, and I think it looks completely different from what we started out with. All right guys, now I hope you have a really clear understanding of how to make engaging product descriptions that communicate trust, reliability, and professionalism from you as a vendor to your potential customers. These style of product pages are the exact styles that fueled $20 million in sales in a single year. I want to remind you guys of one thing, that your dreams are completely within your grasp. Now that we're moving along these lessons, you should slowly see how this website, this branded niche concept of dropshipping is coming to life. But remember one thing, your dreams are completely within your grasp and no one else's. There are people that achieve financial freedom through e-commerce every single day. I'm giving you the tools to succeed, but you actually have to take the time to think through and implement them. So stop telling your friends, your family, or whomever that it's your time to change your life and it's your time to accomplish your dreams, because the time to do so is now. Just know that there's someone else out there that started even lower than you and is making their wildest dreams come true. And these lessons are your tools, but you have to be the driver for your own financial success. In the next video, I'll break down how to design a high converting Shopify site that will blow away your competitors. So see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of people think I'm crazy for putting this content out there for free. So make sure you press like and subscribe, share it with your friends. I'm on a mission to transform e-commerce education, and I can't do it without you. You can follow my journey at Kevin Zhang Official on Instagram. DM me and I promise I'll respond to every single DM, and join the discussion in my private Facebook group, Generation E. I promise that no question will go unanswered. See you in the next video.